Welcome to the largest and most exciting movement on the planet, Bully Proof, the Upstander movement. My name is Michael Turner, and I am your international anti-bullying ambassador straight from the Upstander's den. What is an upstander? An upstander is a person that is a bystander that sees somebody being bullied, and they stand up for that person and removes that person out of the bullying situation in a non-threatening way. That's what an upstander is. First and foremost, I want to thank you for coming to my podcast and thank you for coming to my YouTube channel because we have a lot to talk about. Obviously, this bullying epidemic, I'm sure everyone has heard of bullying. And one of the main reasons for me putting this together is because bullying has taken an extreme turn for the worse. We have kids killing each other. We have kids committing suicide. We have kids missing school. We have so many terrible things going on. And it's gotten so bad. And I hear everyone talking about bullying, but no one doing anything about bullying. Nobody getting together. And one thing that I learned over years, reading history and being involved in life as a whole, is when we get together and we stick together, we make progress. When we don't address something and we do not communicate correctly, we stay divided. And the last I checked, I live in the United States, keyword being united. And that's what this is all about. I'm here to unite us as human beings, as people. Don't care what race, what color, what gender, what anything you are. The reality is we have a major problem, and we're going to come together, and I'm going to bring in professionals. I'm going to bring in kids that have been bullied, parents of kids that have been bullied. I'm going to bring bullies in, and we're going to get their viewpoint and perspective, and we're going to work together. I mean, bottom line, we're going to work together to figure out this problem. And that means there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to have to do and some things we're going to have to give up. But I just want to look at what is bullying, because the last thing I want to do is make bullying just a word and we start using it in a million different ways. Oh, he was bullied. Oh, she was bullied, bullied. And we lose focus on what bullying really is, because it's way too serious. And the things that have been going on are way too serious for us to let the word bullying get fogged. I'm going to read this off my tablet. And this is what bullying is. And this is exactly the only thing we're going to address. Bullying is the use of force, coercion, or threat to abuse, aggressively dominate, or intimidate. The behavior is often repeated and habitual. One essential prerequisite is the repetition by the bully or by others of an imbalance of physical or social power. This imbalance distinguishes bullies from conflict. Bullying is a subcategory of aggressive behavior characterized by the following three minimum criteria: hostile intent, imbalance of power, and repetition over a period of time. Bullying is the activity of repeated aggressive behavior intended to hurt another individual physically, mentally, or emotionally. So that's what bullying is. And that's what we're going to talk about. I don't want to turn this into a complaint or even a crybaby podcast or YouTube channel. We're going to take this very seriously because we're going to save kids' lives. And when we talk about saving our future's lives, I take that very serious. I'm going to read off a few factoids just so we can kind of get an understanding of what's going on here. And these are a very few of many facts. And my numbers might be off a little high, a little low, but just know that these numbers are very close to what the realities are when it comes to bullying. 1 in 5 high school students reported being bullied on school property in the last year. Nearly 14% of public schools report that bullying happens at least once a week. Reports of bullying are highest in middle school, 28%, followed by high school at 16%, combined schools, 12%, and primary schools, 9%. Reports of cyberbullying are highest in middle school, 33%, followed by high school, 30%, combined schools, 20%, and primary schools, 5%. Bullying victims are between 2 to 9 times more likely to consider suicide than non-victims, according to the studies by Yale University. A study in Britain found that at least half of suicides among young people are related to bullying. 10 to 14-year-old girls may be at even higher risk for suicide, according to the study above. According to statistics reported by ABC News, nearly 30% of students are either bullies or victims of bullies, and 160,000 kids stay home from school every day because of fear of being bullied. Wow. If that isn't a problem, and if that isn't something that we need to stand together, put all of our religious and political and our color and whatever other issues we have amongst each other aside, then I don't know what is. I just know on this show, we're going to bring in everybody. I mean, this is all, we're calling in the troops. Everybody, if you hear my voice, we are going to stand together and we're going to change this. I want to talk about the different forms of bullying really fast. You know, I'm talking about these things because I want to give facts. I want to give you guys information to kick off this movement. I mean, this is a huge movement. And so we're just going to talk. It's going to be a little bland, you know, maybe, but we need to know these things so we can kind of get a grip and understand what's going on here. You know, why is it so bad? You know, why are kids killing themselves? Why are kids killing each other? Why are kids missing school? But let's talk about the different forms of bullying. We have verbal bullying. That's teasing, name calling, making threats, intimidating, demeaning jokes about somebody's differences, spreading rumors, gossiping, and slandering. And again, you take that verbal and those words that I gave you after that and kind of go back. Remember, it's got to be habitual. You know, there's a difference between someone teasing you and joshing you or, you know, joking around than bullying. There's a big difference. Just go back, rewind this program, go back and take a look at, or take a listen or a look at what I said. Social bullying, exclusion, social manipulation, telling someone who they can and cannot be friends with, spreading rumors, talk about America and how all ethnicities play a role in this country. But at the end of the day, we have physical bullying. Hitting, kicking, pushing, taking and damaging property, forced or unwelcome contact would be physical bullying. And again, repeatedly, habitually, all the time. For social imbalance. Cyberbullying, which is huge. The internet has taken us by storm in many, many ways, people. It's unregulated in so many ways. It's the vehicle to the world. And cyberbullying has become the worst and the most meanest way that our children are being bullied. Because if you think about it, when I was a kid, and I was bullied, you know, if I had to face the bully, it was fast. You know, it might have been in school for a little while, classes. We went to classes. I didn't see the bully, went home. It was over with. In today's world, if a kid is bullying another kid on social media, it's 24 hours a day. It doesn't stop. It's insanity. But at the same time, other kids get to see it. And then they join along. And now you're getting bullied by multiple children. And it's relentless and relentless and relentless. So cyberbullying. Sending unwelcome emails and texts, threats, sexual harassment, hate speech, ridiculing someone publicly, posting lies, rumors, and gossip, and encouraging others to distribute the information. Very bad. We really have to get our hands on the bullying. And again, I'm going back. We call this the upstander movement because what it's all about is being an upstander, being a good kid, being a good human being. And there's been many movements in the United States history. For one, the equal rights movement. You know, I remember when reading about when JFK challenged America, when every school and every kid in every school was participating in a way to figure out how to get to the moon. Everybody go read that story about JFK and how we, as a nation, we stuck together to try to get to the moon, and we did it. So That's the kind of movement. If you miss those movements, if you ever read any history books and you said, you know what, I wish I was involved in that movement, or maybe you role play and say, well, maybe I would have been this type of person in that movement, or I would have said that in this type of movement. Well, I'm encouraging you today, my friends, my fellow humans. This is a real movement, and we are not going to stop until everyone participates. So you have one or two things you can do. Get on board now or get on board later, because one way or the other, you are going to be on board, because bullying is going to affect all of us in some way. Because remember, I understand bullying's been happening for years and years, but again, it has taken a massive and a major turn for the worst. I mean, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and how bullying has affected my life. You know, I was severely bullied as a very, very young kid, you know, and it was racial. You know, I grew up in an area of the city that I was raised in, and excuse me, I had an older brother, and me and him were just such little kids, but we moved to this neighborhood, and because I was a little guy, every kid in the neighborhood could pick me up, you know, and throw me. So we got bullied relentlessly because of the color of our skin, because we were little, we were picked on and beat up and just played tricks on over and over and over. And there was nothing that we could do. And bullying really has actually messed my life up in ways that you, the parents, and you, the kids, could never understand how far bullying could take you. And it's a really good example because I have a brother, Robert, that stayed strong. He survived it, you know. He was bullied just as equally as I was, but for some reason, he kind of partnered up with the bullies and got along with them better than I did at the end. I remember being bullied when I was a kid, and I remember these two bigger kids saw me getting bullied, and they stuck up for me. And as they beat the kids up that were bullying me, they forced me to pick up a stick and hit the bullies. And they said, every time that these kids bully you, you pick something up and you hit them. And remember, I was probably like 8 years old. I was very influential. You know, I mean, I was looking for friends, and all of a sudden, I never even knew that that lesson that they gave me would destroy my life, completely destroy my life. Because now, guess what I was doing? Every single time somebody messed with me as a kid, we're talking about an 8-year-old child, every single time somebody messed with one of my siblings in any way and I knew about it, I would go grab the biggest stick that I could find and I would beat that person until a teacher or a parent would come out and save that person. And it just snowballed out of control, where the same guys that protected me and taught me, they became my idols. They stopped the pain. You know, they stopped me from being bullied. So they ended up being the gang leaders in my neighborhood. And then I joined gangs as a very, very young kid. I started robbing houses. I started gang banging and putting violence on people. And then I actually became the worst bully in the planet Earth. You know, I would recruit kids into the gang. And if you didn't get into the gang, you were just going to get beat up every day or picked on every day or teased every day. And I have friends in prison doing life in prison now. And I didn't really have anything to do with them being in prison for the rest of their life. But the reality is, think about if I had not have convinced them to join my gang or forced them to join the gang, where would their life be? I spent many, many years in jail. Prisons, federal prison, state prison, you know, because it all stemmed from bullying. I embarrassed my family. I embarrassed myself. I've given up decades of my life. But I sit back and think about it, was all because I was bullied. And it don't happen to everybody that way, but I know that was the root, and I know it completely destroyed my life, and I'm blessed. And that's why I picked up this movement. I said, you know what? I don't ever want anyone to even have the possibility of going through anything that I went through. You know, sitting in prison cell, sitting in a hole for a year, not being around your family. And this is what I can tell you, young people. I can guarantee you, whatever you're doing now, playing video games, like McDonald's, hanging with friends, going fishing, whatever it is, one thing I can tell you for 1,000% fact, none of it's in prison. So, you know, if you're going down that road, you need to just really think about it and stop. And number two, I see how many kids are literally taking their lives. And I ask myself, wow, this little kid does not even know He or she doesn't even understand life, more or less death. And it is so heartbreaking to know that a child is getting bullied so fast, and I don't even know how they can even conceive that killing himself would take it away. So that was a little bit about my story. And I just want you to know that I've been bullied and I became the bully. So I'm not just starting this movement just because, I'm feeling some type of way. I know the extremes of bullying and what it could do to somebody's life and how it could rip families apart. Let's switch subjects here. I hear a lot of kids say snitch. Nobody wants to tell. Well, let me tell you a little secret about how life works. Life works this way. Everybody has the right to be treated fair. Everybody has the right to be treated kind. Everybody has the right to have an opinion. Everyone has the right to just live and believe what you want to believe. But I hear kids say, well, I didn't want to tell. I didn't want to, tell my friends, or I didn't want to tell that he was going to set up the school and shoot somebody, or, whatever it may be. But I'm going to just, because I have been through what I've been through in my life, and I was on the other side of criminality for most of my life, and I've done so many years in prisons and in gangs and all that stuff, I can tell you what a snitch is. I've earned that right. I've earned those credentials, unfortunately. A snitch is a criminal, and another criminal that, harm people, rob people, steal from people, sell drugs to people, and they get caught. And when they get caught, they turn on their other buddy that was doing the same thing they were doing. And I didn't make the word snitch up, and I don't glorify it or take it away. I just know that if we hear of kids wanting to hurt themselves, if we hear kids plotting or planning to hurt others or do something bad in the school that is going to jeopardize other people, I can assure you that is very far from what a snitch is. For one, you're not a criminal. For two, you're standing up and doing the right thing so nobody gets hurt. So you are not a snitch. Okay? You're not a tattletale. There's no such thing when people's lives and their safety are at jeopardy here. Okay? So let's just redefine that. Take that word out of your vocabulary. Now, if you want to become a criminal, well, that's fine. That's your life. At the end of the day, they got prisons for you. So I just encourage you and tell you that's not the way to go. Another thing is like kids, I see kids in today's world, and I don't know, they're so nonchalant now. It's like, I almost want to say they forgot that kids have a responsibility. I have a responsibility as an adult. I got to get up. I got to go to work. I got to pay my taxes. I got to go grocery shopping. I got to treat people kind. I got to follow the laws of the land. I can't speed down the street because I have a responsibility. Well, here goes the reality, young people. You also have a responsibility. And one of your biggest responsibilities in my mind is to be a good kid. Understand that you live in a country with many different cultures, many different religions, many different ideas and opinions. And that's exactly what we were raised on. This whole country was raised on the differences. And think about it. Look what we have built based on everybody being different, but yet we attack each other over these differences. It is completely mind-blowing to me. But you have a responsibility to follow the laws. You have a responsibility to go to school. You know why? Because we need you to get good grades. You know why? Because you are the next in line to take over one of the biggest economies and the biggest militaries and one of the most beautiful and blessed countries on the planet. We need people to get ready to be and have jobs. Go to the military, become lawyers, become the supervisors at Walmart. Whatever it is that you have to do, you have a responsibility. And I think we need to really direct ourselves and redefine what your responsibility is. Because you're going to inherit a big country, guys. Bottom line, let's get it together. We're going to have a lot of different topics on this stuff. And the key is we've got to stop this madness, this bullying and picking on each other. This is how I'm going to give you guys, young people, this is for you. Let's think about it like this. You're the bully. And remember, you're 13 years old. and you're bullying some kids right now, or a kid, you're relentlessly bullying and picking on them for whatever reason. I don't know. But all of a sudden in 5 years from now, that goes like this. You're out of high school and you've been really working hard to get this particular job. All of a sudden you walk in for the interview, and guess who is your interviewee? The same kid that you relentlessly bullied back when you were in junior high school, that you probably even forgot that he existed or she existed. And now what are you going to want this person to do? In your heart's heart, you're going to want this person to give you the job. Or let's just say this. One day, unfortunately, something happens, I don't know, to one of your loved ones, someone that you care about. And the paramedics come. And this is 10 years down the road. See, we don't think that far ahead, but you have to. And the paramedic that walks through the door is the same kid that you relentlessly bullied. The same kid you picked on and talked about and embarrassed and humiliated. You're going to want that paramedic to do the best that they can to help the person that you love and care about. So just think about that. You always got to think ahead of the game. Picking on people, I don't know. It's just dumb to me, I guess. And another thing is bullying closes doors. Think about it this way. This is one thing I learned in life. See, I failed so many times that I finally figured this out. When I was like out there gangbanging and I was out there teasing kids and beating kids up and doing all this dumb stuff, and all the people that followed me would laugh with me and thought it was funny, they really didn't respect me. They feared me. Or they feared what I could do or have done to them if they didn't follow or smile. So basically, I was closing doors. Nobody trusted me. Nobody liked me. Bottom line. They played like they liked me and they played like they trusted me, but they didn't, because they probably were thinking, well, when is it going to be my turn? This is one fact that I've learned in life is people love good people. You don't have to tell anybody you're good. Good is just good. I'll know a good person when I see a good person, when I hear a good person. And I can tell you one thing, people follow good people. People listen to good people. People hire good people. People want to spend time with good people. And as long as you're a good person, you're opening doors. And you're probably thinking, well, I'm a kid. Who needs to open doors? That's the problem, is we're not thinking ahead. We're thinking about today. We're thinking about the moment. And we're not thinking about tomorrow. We got to start thinking about that. And the biggest thing is, young people, we have so many things in common. Think about it. If we just turned ourselves inside out, we'll never know what color. We'll all be red. I promise. If we were blindfolded and we talked the exact same and we just talked about all the differences, video games, baseball games and football games and driving to the games in high school and TV shows and Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell, KFC, music, swimming. We can sit here all day and all night and talk about all the things that we as young people and even adults have in common. We have way more things in common than we don't. But yet, we always pick the one or two things that we don't out of a million and tear each other down. We're going to talk about that. We're going to try to get you to understand why it doesn't make any sense. I have a little thing I call the front door theory. I used to see people and judge them a little bit, be a little prejudiced based off what I thought or who I thought they were. And the crazy thing is, the minute that I gave somebody an opportunity and talked to them and realized how much we had in common, it was like, wow, that was a cool person. Wow, I would have never thought that person like this. So I call it the front door theory. The front door theory is basically like, it's simple. Just give somebody a chance. Hear them out. Listen to them. And you will find that anything that you probably thought about them, because you didn't know, you just had a preconceived opinion, But I promise you, if you allow yourself to walk through the front door, you realize that people are a lot the same. We like a lot of the same stuff. And pretty much we're all cool, loving, respectable people. I guarantee it. Like I said, we're a lot more alike than we are different. I'm a little under the weather today, so I'm a little slower than usual. But I think this is very important. And, you know, and I'm encouraging everybody, if you hear my voice, if you're watching this YouTube channel, I need you to share it with somebody, because this is a real movement. I'm going to teach you today what it is to be involved in a movement. We're going to go back to the 60s when President John F. Kennedy encouraged every single school in the United States to help us. They all participated with their ideas and their thoughts to try to get us to the moon. You know, that's just one of the greatest ones because everybody was involved in that one. I just know this: bullying and the behavior of bullying is not normal. And we're not even, and most of us parents are like, oh, kids will be kids. You know, it's just bullying because we've all have experienced bullying. It's just bullying. Kids will be kids. It's not normal. It's not normal that kids are hanging themselves. It's not normal that 160,000 children are not going to school because they don't want to face their bully. It's not normal that kids are shooting at schools. It's not normal. And that's why we got to get into it. That's why we have to get involved. And kids, you know, I used to want to be so cool when I was young. I don't even know if that's a term anymore, cool. But it isn't cool to pick on kids. It isn't cool to laugh and belittle kids. I know, like me and my friends right now, if I see somebody bullying somebody, I'm an upstander and I'm going to get involved in a non-threatening way, and I'm going to remove that person out of that bullying situation without saying a word. I'm just going to walk up to that person and say, hey, your friend Bill wants to talk to you, and I'm going to grab him. We're just going to walk as fast as we can the other way. That's simple. It takes a lot of courage to be an upstander. I promise it does. But we need as many upstanders as we can. But cool. What is cool? People think, oh, I'm going to talk about this kid in front of the girls. Oh, so I'm cool. One thing you're going to learn about life is cool. The word cool, being cool, has an expiration date. The expiration date on the word cool is probably faster than on your gallon of milk or your bananas and your apples. Because what you think is cool today, I can guarantee you may not be cool tomorrow to you. You know, once you think about what you just did after you hurt somebody, and or once you mature a little bit, going from 7th grade to 9th grade is a big step. So what you thought was cool in 7th grade is no longer cool in 9th grade because you're in high school now. You see? So don't be in a rush to try to be cool and let everyone think you're cool, because at the end of the day, you're going to realize when you do dumb stuff that it wasn't so cool after all, I promise you. And you know what? I don't want to make this movement against the bully. You know, this is a really big time movement here. This is huge. We are not against the bully. Bully, if you're listening to me, we're asking you to come and be an upstander. Stop the bullying. Whatever pain you're going through, whatever you're going through to make you be the bully, let's work together. Let's work it out. That's what we do. We work things out together, and guess what? We'll figure out why. And if you don't understand why, we'll help you understand why. Today we have to stand together, you guys. Like, seriously, it's like real. You have to make a choice today. I'm asking you to make a choice to be part of something. Share this YouTube channel. Share this podcast. It's important. This is a movement. Think about it when you become older. You say, you know what? I was involved in that movement. You're going to feel great about yourself, and you're going to go and tell your children or your grandchildren, say, I was involved in the upstander movement. We created tens of thousands of upstanders around our state. You know, we turned this whole bullying thing around because we learned to respect each other. Make a choice, people. Please come and join me. I'm begging you. I need you. I don't know how I'm going to pull all this off. You know, I don't know. We don't have big sponsors or nothing like that. But you know what I do have? I know for a fact that I have a bunch of people that can hear me, that we can make the decision to be part of the movement, and we can agree that every time something bad happens in this country, whether it was the World Trade Centers, whether it was Vietnam War, whatever it was, for some odd reason, we stick together when things are bad. And it is completely mind-blowing to me. Why can't we stick together when things are good and just keep things good? I mean, the world isn't perfect. I get that. I understand the world's not perfect, and we can't make everything so pretty and smooth. But you know what? Today's the day that we make history. Come join me. I'm not a suicide expert. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm just a parent. I'm a kid that was bullied at one point. I'm a kid that was a major bully at one point. Now I'm a grown man that says I got to stand for something. At one point in your life, no matter who you are or where you are, you're going to have to stand for something other than yourself. You got to think outside the box. You got to, something's got to be bigger than you. You know, what do you want to contribute back? What part of your legacy do you want to leave behind? Let's stop the bullying. Again, I want to bring in mental health professionals, suicide professionals. I'm going to bring in teachers and administrators. I'm going to bring in kids that have been bullied. I'm going to bring in parents, of kids that have been bullied. I'm going to bring in my next guest that's coming up pretty soon is his 15-year-old son committed suicide. He brought his son from a whole different state to our state, put him into a school that he researched that was a good school. And 1 year later, he was bullied so bad because he was a good-looking kid. All the girls liked him, but he didn't know. He was a new kid on the block trying to meet friends. But the bullying was so relentless, the 15-year-old man, young man, hung himself. Again, I'm calling out. Again, my name is Michael Turner. I am your international anti-bullying ambassador. My podcast, my YouTube channel is called Bully Proof, the Upstander Movement. And I am looking for upstanders. I'm looking for people that care, who wants to make a difference with me, who wants to be part of the movement. And if you do, tune in once a week, and we're going to put on the best podcast and YouTube channel to make a difference with our communities and our children. I appreciate you for listening. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Take care.